Hey guys, it's CrystalRenèe here. Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, thanks for joining. In today's video, we're going to talk all about how I grew this Pothos N'joy in my care after 3 years. So January 22nd, 2019 is when I first purchased this plant. I'm not even sure where I purchased this plant from, but I did want to add it to my collection. After 6 months of caring for this plant, she did show tremendous growth. I did post a video about 3 years ago of her 6-month update. If you like to check that out, I'll link it above. As you can see, she jumped from a 3-inch planter to a 6-inch planter in no time. 3 months later, she was trailing like nobody's business. I kept her in my south-facing window, but as you can see, the windows were a bit shaded, so she wasn't getting direct light to the leaves. Also, she was looking a little bit straggly with all the long vines, so I decided to give her a chop. I did post a video on showing how I did that as well. If you're interested, I will also link that one above. Here's what the outcome of that looked like. I ended up with a nice bunch of leaves to go ahead and propagate to create a new plant. At this point, I was left with a pretty bare plant, but I knew what the outcome would be, so I wasn't too worried. So after placing those cuttings in some water, I placed it in a bright sunny location, in direct light of course, and after 2 weeks she gave me some nice juicy roots. Now as you may or may not know, there are different ways to propagate cuttings, but in my case I just use simply water, and this is one of the best methods I typically go for when propagating any pothos. And for me, this works just fine, and the wait time isn't long at all. Just put her in a bright sunny location, forget about her, and before you know it, voila, you have roots. Once rooted up, I decided to go ahead and pot them up in soil and create 5 different plants, which I later sold. So if you're new to plants, you may not know that cutting back your plants will promote more growth. In my case, it promoted my plant to be a bit more bushier, which was the look that I was going for. Over time, she became so bushy that it was already time to upsize her pot. So now she is in a 10-inch pot, and she is straggly once again, but looking beautiful all at once. And as I mentioned, I was looking for a more bushier look, and being that I had upsized her pot, she didn't look as full as she did before, so I decided to give her a chop once again. This time, after rooting all the cuttings, I decided to pot them all up in one planter, and again, I did end up selling her. After doing this, she gave me just what I was wanting, a fuller pot. As you can see, she is full, lush, and just living her best life. I'm just loving how the leaves look painted almost. And each leaf has their own pattern. It's never the same. Some are mostly white with a little bit of green, and some are green with a little bit of white. So the pattern is very consistent throughout the whole plant. And I just love this look about this plant. Now for me, I typically water my N'joy when she is almost bone dry. And if you're using a moisture meter, you want to water it when the gauge is about at a 1 or a 2. You don't want to water it any sooner than that because this pothos do not like to sit in water. You will create root rot if you water it any sooner. Here is what my N'joy is looking like as of today. She is full, lush, and showing out. And as you can see, her leaves are starting to get a little bit larger as well. She is living life, looking glorious, and I am so proud of the job that I've done with her over the 3 years being in my care. I also forgot to mention when fertilizing your N'joy, I have no set schedule of fertilizing her. I can do it either every 2 weeks, once a month. Sometimes I just flat out forget, and she has gone maybe months without fertilizer. So you don't technically need to do that on a schedule. But what I can say if you want her to trail all the way around, you may want to rotate her. As you can see, she is growing towards the sunlight. The back of my N'joy don't really receive much sunlight, and she's kind of short in the back. So I am going to be rotating her to the opposite side. That way she can trail all the way around and look glorious from each side of her pot. But overall, I am happy with the outcome, and this has been an easy plant to care for. And if you don't yet have this plant in your collection, I suggest you go out and get one because they are very resilient. I've also gone days without watering her on her scheduled time, and she does not make a fuss. So if you're new to plant care, I feel like this is a plant that you should have in your collection because in my opinion, she would be perfect for beginners. And as you can see, I've created many plants from that 1 3-inch plant that I had 3 years ago that is now in this 10-inch planter and doing great. You wouldn't even know that I cut her so many times by how full and lush she looks. If you come this far in the video, you know you're greatly appreciated. If you haven't liked this video already, please give this video a like. And if you're not yet subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting on? Please join the family. And as I always say, enjoy peace, spread love, and be blessed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Click the notification bell so that you never miss a post. Share with all your planty friends. And follow me on my Instagram so that we can interact.